So, you know, Mary's was the peach pit. You know, so we were using their little lot in the valley. And it's 1,000,000 degrees. If you've never been to the valley in Southern California, it is a long way from the beach and there ain't no breeze. It is hot. So my favorite thing to do was to show up in the morning and when Bob was getting his makeup, go into his trailer and turn his heater on. So that Bob would come in and in his makeup and in his cop uniform, which is also not a breezy ensemble, go in there and immediately start sweating and come to my trailer, knock on the door and go, dude, it's not funny. Every time you do this, the heat. I'm like, Bob, I know. I have a problem. Help me. And it just became a recurring joke. Anyway, so I got a lot of joy out of that, as did others. Bob didn't so much, but we're still speaking, so it's okay.
Thank you.
I love the Band of Brothers when I watched it. And one of the things that I came away from, and probably purposely so, is I watched it and I thought, oh my God, everybody looks so miserable. The weather, the conditions. How much of that did you as an actor have to go through? And how much of it was excellent staging?
Well, you know, it's pretty much acting. You know, film sets aren't the coal mines. You know, it's a pretty, you know, you have breaks and you have time down and stuff. Band of Brothers was an interesting experience in that, you know, they made a very strong point when we started that job. We all got cast, we all got flown to, we were out on a military base outside of London, an area called Longmoor. And we're all staying there and it's going to be this 12-day boot camp. And we're all nervous out of our pants. We don't know each other. We only know each other by our character name and rank. And we have these military advisors who are saying horrible things to us and making us do push-ups. We're getting our hair cut and all that stuff. But no, obviously they're doing their best to simulate the military experience for us so we have some idea what we're going into. And we can understand rank and firearms and everything like that. And it was great. But Tom Hanks came to speak to us right before when we started boot camp, the first day. He and Steven Spielberg came in on a helicopter. And Tom Hanks got out. Tom Hanks looked like Grizzly Adams. He was shooting Castaway at the time. So he comes out with this giant beard. You're like, ah! Who's that mountain man who looks like Tom Hanks? And he said, and he, you know, welcomed us all. And he'd been involved in the casting process, so we'd all met him and seen him. But then he was here in front of the 60 of us, the 60 British and the 30 British, 30 American. And he said, this is a job for you. Your job is to fight the war. Let us shoot the movie. You're not making a war movie. You're fighting a war. We'll worry where the cameras are. We'll worry about, you know, how to stage it. You just do your job fighting this thing. And was the premise behind the whole film. It was, you know, we staged those battle sequences for days at a time, learned how to do them, and then we would just do them. You had no idea where the cameras were. You had no idea what they were shooting. It wasn't a typical movie set where, you know, if you weren't on screen, you would go back to your trailer. You did it all day long. We all showed up at the set at 5 a.m. We all left at 7 p.m. We did, so if you were a dot in the background, but it was your character carrying the mortar, that was you in the background carrying the mortar. It wasn't a stand-in or an extra or something like that. So, in that regard, it was very much a difficult shoot and team effort because we were really tired and really exhausted. I started this comic by saying it's a movie set and things are still kind of soft because, you know, I always have to walk that fine line between real military and movie military. You know, Band of Brothers, we've traveled all over the world to military bases talking to soldiers about that movie. Or not about that movie, but because of that movie. We traveled with the veterans. Last June I went with a lot of the actual vets to the military hospitals in Germany. Because the military loves that. A lot of the military guys love the miniseries. You know, it reminds them of what their grandfathers did, and they're in the middle of a very difficult conflict, and it serves as a sort of inspiration. And it's not because of what I did or because of what the other actors did. It's because of what the actual men did. We're just retracing the steps. That's all we're doing. There was cameras there to capture it. And so I'm always quick to say, it was hard, but it was a movie. And so, you know, they did their best to simulate what we were supposed to do, and we did our best to give it our, you know, our all and 110% and sink our guts into playing the guys we played. I mean, not to go on too much of a Band of Brothers rant here, but guys would take themselves out of scenes, which never happens in movies. Usually guys are elbowing their way in to get more camera time. But, Donnie Wahlberg would go home, call Lipton on the phone, the actual Lipton, and go, "Did you say this? You didn't? Okay." And he'd come back and say, "I can't say that." Lipton never said that. I'm not saying it. Like, okay. So we all did our best to keep it real in that regard. I think a lot of blood, sweat, and tears is visible on the screen. That's the longest answer to a short question.
Well, I thank you because it was wonderful. Thank you so much.